All right, let's talk about a new term that is stirring up a ton of drama in the software world, vibe coding. Is this the future, a massive productivity hack, or is it just a recipe for disaster, creating a huge mess of digital garbage that nobody can fix? Let's get into it.
Okay, so we're not going to pull any punches here. This comment from Reddit pretty much sums up the gut reaction from a huge chunk of the developer community. People didn't just disagree with the idea, they thought it was ridiculous. So what exactly is this thing that's getting everybody so fired up?
To really get what's going on, you have to know where this super catchy and, yeah, pretty controversial term came from. It wasn't cooked up in some corporate strategy meeting. Nope, like a lot of things these days, it all started with a single, kind of playful post on social media.
So here's the deal. Vibe coding is basically about letting an AI do the driving. You're not sitting there writing every single line of code yourself. Instead, you're more like a movie director. You give the AI some high-level instructions, you trust your gut, that vibe, and you keep tweaking things until until it feels like it's working. And you can see why this is a huge departure from traditional engineering, which is all about being super rigorous, testing everything, and knowing your code inside and out. And the guy who started this whole firestorm? It's the famous AI researcher Andrej Karpathy. He coined the term in a post where he was just talking about a fun, almost silly way he was building what he called throwaway weekend projects. He wasn't trying to invent a new way to build banking software, he was just messing around, seeing what AI could do for fun little side gigs. The key phrase there is throwaway. But of course, the internet grabbed the term and just ran with it, and that really important context got left behind.
And once vibe coding broke out of that weekend project box, and some people started hailing it as the next big thing in software, the professional developer community, well, they were not having it. They saw it as a direct attack on the very principles of good engineering.
And this slide right here really gets to the heart of the disagreement. It's a clash of philosophies. See, clean code isn't just a style. For a lot of pros, it's the gold standard. It's all about writing software that other humans can actually read and maintain for years to come. Accountability is everything. You write it, you own it, you fix it. Vibe coding just flips the whole table over. Who's responsible when the AI messes up? How are you supposed to maintain code that you don't really truly understand? It's trading proven engineering principles for a gut feeling. And the criticism got really specific. Developers started calling vibe coders the new script kiddies. You know, that old term for amateur hackers who use powerful tools without having a clue how they actually work? They warned it just generates AI slop, code that looks like it works but is a complete disaster underneath, creating this huge hidden cost called technical debt. For them, it's not a tool, it's an excuse for being lazy, and it's going to lead to fragile products and a total nightmare when something inevitably breaks.
But hold on, the story isn't that simple. For every person yelling about the dangers, there's someone else saying, hey, wait a minute. They see vibe coding not as a replacement for real engineering, but as a brand new, incredibly powerful tool if you use it for the right things.
So the main argument for it is all about accessibility. Proponents say, look, a lot of great hackers started out as script kiddies, right? Vibe coding can be that first step on the ladder. It lets a scientist or a small business owner, someone who's an expert in their own field, quickly build a tool to solve their own problem without having to spend years becoming a professional developer first. It's about democratizing the power to create things.
And this is the key right here. This is the context its supporters keep pointing to. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is seriously suggesting you should vibe code a payment system or the software that runs an airplane. Its real power is in these low-stakes areas. Quickly slapping together a prototype to see if an idea has legs, building a simple internal tool for your team, or, just having fun on a weekend project, like Karpathy was doing in the first place. In these situations, speed is way more important than long-term perfection.
And here's the proof in the pudding. This is what it looks like in the real world. A developer on Reddit is talking about the insane productivity boost they're getting. For those small internal apps, the speed is a game changer. Something that would have taken a whole week of heads-down coding can now get roughed out in a single day. That frees up developers to go work on the really hard, really important problems that need a human brain.
So you see, it's not just a simple black and white issue. A middle ground is starting to appear. People are figuring out how to get the speed benefits of vibe coding without creating a total train wreck. The conversation is shifting from, should we do this, to, okay, how do we do this responsibly?
And check this out, people are actually creating guides for it now. It looks a lot more like a real engineering process. You start by planning. You don't just ask the AI to build a social network, you give it tiny, bite-sized tasks. A really clever trick is to manage the AI's memory, its context window, by starting a new chat for a new feature so it doesn't get confused. And maybe the most brilliant part, using a second AI to act like a code reviewer for the first one. It's about being systematic, not just winging it.
And this is where that discipline really pays off. These are classic rookie mistake security holes that AIs can easily make. A responsible Viber knows to look for these. They don't just check if a user is logged in, they check if that user actually has permission to do what they're trying to do. They make sure you can't just change a number in a web address and suddenly see someone else's private data. This is where that human oversight becomes absolutely non-negotiable.
This whole debate is forcing us to zoom out and ask a much bigger question. If AI is going to write more and more of the actual code, what does being a software developer even mean in 5 or 10 years? The answer might have less to do with typing and a lot more to do with thinking, planning, and talking to other people.
This quote from a forum for experienced developers is just perfect. It's so blunt and so true. For so long, we've had this stereotype of the genius coder who just sits in a basement and doesn't talk to anyone. But as AI automates the more mechanical parts of the job, what really makes someone a great developer are the human skills. Being able to work with a team, explain a complicated idea simply, and just generally be a person that others want to work with.
So here's the real takeaway. The job description for developer is evolving right before our eyes. The developer of the future might spend less time writing basic code and a lot more time clearly defining problems for an AI to solve. Your value is going to come from your ability to think critically about what the AI spits out, to hunt down its weird bugs, and most of all, to communicate with all the other humans, the designers, the product managers, to make sure you're building the right thing in the first place. It's less about being a coder and more about being a technical strategist.
And that's the big question this whole thing leaves us with, isn't it? The rise of vibe coding isn't just about some new fad. It's a sign that the very identity of a developer is shifting. The focus is moving away from the mechanics of writing code and toward the art of asking the right questions, guiding these incredibly powerful systems, and ultimately taking full responsibility for the final product, no matter who or what wrote the first draft.